Yeah,
So sorry. I had a bit of an issue with Zoom. I'd uninstalled it and hadn't realised I'd uninstalled it a few weeks ago. So I thought I still had it.
And it gives you that pain of like, I had a similar thing. I've just done this thing with Movember, and let me just get the lighting right in here. And you've done so well with the natural lighting.
Yes, I went with the natural lighting.
Well done you. Well done you. You know what you're doing, huh? No stranger to content. You really put the pressure on me. I'm the goddamn host. I should be perfect.
You're joking? Oh God, no. I've never done a podcast before, so.
I was so excited to hear that.
Yeah, never.
Anyone that needs, I think it's because people assume that you're loud enough that you can project to multiple people at the same time, anytime you want. You know, you don't even need this platform.
I mean, I do listen to podcasts as well. I've just never done one myself.
Which ones do you like?
I listened to a guy called James Smith. Have you heard of him?
No.
He's like in the fitness industry. He's like, he bashes like.
Yes, I do know him.
Stereotypical stuff.
He's a UK guy, but he's in Australia or somewhere. Is that right?
Yeah, that's him. Yeah.
So interesting enough, I got into trouble saying something online about a yoga podcast. And after all of the controversy, someone said, they were like, you should be the James Smith of yoga.
Really?
Because they said he's done, like, that's really done wonders for his career in general.
It has.
Being that outlier and just saying what you mean and sticking to your guns. You know, he's like,
yeah.
I don't know any of his stuff, but would it be too far to say he's anti-vegan?
I wouldn't say he's anti-vegan. I think he kind of understands why people might want to be vegan. But he's anti-fad diets, anti like keto, anti-fasting. Like he just thinks like very similar view. In fact, he's got the same views as me, except I wouldn't do it the way. Like I'm constantly telling people, "You're that stupid, that stupid," but he goes to the next level and calls them the C word.
Oh my God! Yeah. Okay.
He's got a T-shirt. Yeah. He's got a T-shirt that says "Stop being a cunt."
Also, I like, Jenny, how you went from using the C word to within a second just using the word cunt anyway. You're like, whatever. I said the C word, so you had your chance to get out. If you're in now, you're in deep. Yeah, hey, I swear your accent allows you to say it with less malice than others.
It sounds more.
It sounds softer. It sounds softer with your accent. I think the London accent makes it sound really hard. You know, like a South London geezer says it. You're like, oh.
I think you have to do an example.
You want me to do one?
Yeah.
So I've got a friend called Mark Slaughter, who's just such a great name anyway. Mark Slaughter. He's 6'4". Cool. He's really wide. He's a stunt double for Alexander Skarsgård. Like he's very cool anyway, but then he also has cool blonde hair and he's got a cool name. I'm like, oh, this goddamn, I don't know why I'm friends with him now. I say these things. So anyway, he has a friend, another stunt guy called Gary Kane, who's from your neck of the woods. I don't know exactly where. I think he's from Bolton, maybe. But whenever he see Mark, or if he knows Mark, he says, when you see Slaughter, tell him he's a cunt. Like and I'm always like, wow, it's just so funny. So, wow, we've started off in a hell of a way here.
The casual cunting, that's fun.
All right, Jenny, there's so much I want to talk to you about. I've been watching your clips of the show. You look, can I say, the thing I'm most impressed about is winning is one thing. Winning while looking good is another thing. When I train, like you can catch me, if someone is a good photographer, they can catch me maybe doing mid snatch and it looks pretty cool. You know, I look pretty cool. But if they miss that section at all, it's like, like even sometimes on my Instagram stories, you know, when you start a story and it starts on a still frame. And you're like, oh, come on. Yeah, now I have to start like this. I have to go like this. Be ready now. Go. Like otherwise, it just, you have like, it gets you. It'll get you. Now, Jenny, let's get into the meat of this. Now, you are currently on an MTV show called The Challenge. But I feel like before there was ever The Challenge, you faced quite a few challenges already in terms of diet, fitness, exercise, things like that. Do you want to let the listeners know and the viewers know a little bit more about your background, how you got into fitness in the first place, and what your motivations were?
Yeah, I'll try and make this as simple and quick as I can, because I'll speak for an hour just talking about that.
Yeah, I'm gonna go lie down.
So I've always been, growing up, into being fit and strong. And my twin sister, I've got a twin sister for those who may or may not know, both of us are the same. Like, we've always been really strong. As in, like, when we're like 7, 8, 9 years old, we could just do like endless amounts of press ups. We had like a really good flex. Like, we just looked like we did like gymnastics or sports, and we didn't. We just were always freaking strong. So growing up, when I was like in my teens, most teenage girls obviously want to look a certain way. And don't get me wrong, I wanted to look cute, but I loved feeling strong, because I knew that I was naturally strong, and it made me feel a bit like Buffy the Vampire Slayer. You know how she just like kicks ass all the time, but she just looks so unsuspecting. I kind of like felt like she was my idol growing up, and I wanted to be like strong. Like, don't get me wrong, I wanted to look thin and cute and whatever, but I wanted to be strong. That was like the main thing that like really kind of like took my attention. And Lucy and I were like wanted to be strong. And when I got into my 20s, when I first started going to the gym, I never went to the gym before then. I actually coached cheerleading randomly. I'd seen a load of high school films, got a qualification, and started teaching it at schools. And then in my low 20s, I was like 23, 24, I started going to the gym properly and going and doing weights and stuff. And I found that I was just good at it, because I was already quite strong. I don't know why. Lucy and I are twins. We're supposed to be like one half of an egg. So you're supposed to be weak, and we just weren't. So I think I just took advantage of my natural strength and natural ability, and then kind of like ran with it. Once I fell into weight training, that was kind of it, really. I loved it. I just found I was good at it. I kind of understood about technique and muscles really quickly. And then within the first year of doing weights, I did my first competition, and that was it. Then kind of went from there.
How did you do in that first competition?
I came third in the Northwest.
Your first one?
Yeah. And you know what, as well, Doug, I should have done better, because my physique was up to scratch, but my posing was absolutely horrendous. Like, when I look at photos of my first competition, I've got like claws for hands, because posing is everything on stage. Like, you could have like the third best physique, but come first if your posing is showing off your physique in the best way, because you can have the best body ever, but if you can't present it on stage, you're not going to get noticed by the judges. So I didn't know how I got third, because my posing was awful. And actually, yeah, when I left the competition, I was like packing up my trophy in my bag, and I was like elated, like on cloud 9. And this judge came over to me and went, "Listen, you did really well today. You could have cut first, but your hands, you need to sort them out. They look like claws." I went, "Okay."
So that I've always been fascinated by this part of the competition, right? Of this display part. And from watching, I'm not sure if you've seen it, it's such a great film, which is, now I forget the name, Pumping Iron, with Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yes, love it.
And you see the jostling, like as they like pushing in front of people. Can you talk, and since we have the advantage of video, can you show us how you pose and what you're trying to do? And what's the structure? Do they say biceps and everyone does biceps, or is it just like you just do the thing?
Yeah, it's different for girls and guys, and also even within the girls' classes, it's different. So there's different poses you have to hit for different categories. So you have like tone category, you've got bikini, you've got, and both of those will require different posing. So the bikini categories is slightly more is a lot more girly, and the toned categories are more like, the figure categories, it's figure, not tone. Figure categories are more structured and a little bit more, I want to say, like bodybuildery. But you'll get on stage, and the aim for the judges there is to see you from the front, then they want to see you from the side, and then they want to see you from the back. So right on the front, they'll say, ladies on stage, face the front and relax, which means you don't need to do a pose, but you don't just relax, You like stand on stage and like you're relaxing, but you're like
you're sucking it in.
Like, yeah. Like breathing in, like trying to flex everything, but trying to like you're just chilling out on stage when actually you're like sucking everything in. And then they'll be like, and then you go through your compulsory poses. So it'd be like, right, arms above head, pose from the front, arms above head. So that's a bicep pose, but that's a figure pose. Whereas the bikini girls, they won't do that. They just do like their quarter turns. So they'll pose from the front and they'll kind of go side on, and then they pose from the side, and there's a lot of like hair flicking, and like, it's very like it's almost like you're putting on a performance in a show. Yeah.
So that is very.
And there is jostling, like that jostling you see is when. Once you've done all your compulsories, in some categories, you then have to go and do an I walk or a T walk, where you walk to the front of the stage on your own, you do your quarter turns, and then you flounce away, and then somebody else comes on. But the bit where the jostling is at the very end of all of that, they do a 60-second pose down, and they whack the music up, and they go, right, you're 60 seconds, go! And everyone's like this, running to the front of stage, and you're like doing all these poses because it's your last 60 seconds to get first place, second place, or whatever you're aiming for, because that's it then. Then you're off stage and it's trophies and placing. So everyone's like elbowing each other, like it gets rough. I've seen people get pushed off stage before.
My goodness. So, and do they place you, who decides where you are? I imagine in the lineup, being in the middle is preferable, no?
Ideally, yeah. I mean, when you first get on stage, it depends on how, I think what happens is, it's the order at which you register for the show. So if you register last, you're going to be the last person on stage. If you register first, you're going to be the first person on stage. So once registration opens for the show, as the athletes register for the show on the morning, then they get given their order in that way. Or it might be which you register to take part, which you have to do it in advance. So say 2 weeks out from the show, I apply online and say I want to compete in this show. Then say there's 5 girls in front of me, I'll be the 5th one in, sixth one in, and then there'll be whoever comes. So you might be in the middle, but you're never going to know where you're going to be. Yeah.
That's funny. I was speaking to a 400-meter runner, Olympic runner, and he was explaining how they give them the lanes randomly. But it's completely, although it's 400 meters, it's just a different mentality being in different places, you know?
Yeah,
like,
it freaked
because
me out.
they stagger.
I always think that.
Yeah, because the one guy's already 50 meters ahead of you. Like, come on.
What's going on?
So I want to also talk about your posing in general, because I think if anyone's never tried posing, they won't quite understand how taxing it is on the body.
Oh my God, it's exhausting.
Would you train separately posing? So would you do your weight workout and then you would have a whole different time of the day?
Yeah. Your weight training is super important. And as you get closer and closer to competition, what happens is your schedule just gets filled up. You've got your cardio training, you've got your weight training, you've got your stretching, you've got your posing practice. There's so much goes into it. And if you are a figure competitor, you have to do a 60-second routine as well, like a dance routine with poses in it. So you're practicing your posing and you're practicing your routine. Whereas the bikini competitors, they don't have to do that. So, I mean, generally, how long is a piece of string in terms of how much you can spend doing posing practice? The more you do, the better you'll be. I like to wedge my phone up and then put it on record and then just go through all the quarter turns and then just watch it back, rather than using a mirror. Because if you use a mirror, you get used to be able to see what you're doing wrong and move into it, whereas you need to be able to feel that. And it's quite boring. For me, it's quite boring. Some girls love it. I find posing practice quite boring, particularly when I'm not very lean. I just don't want to see. I don't want to look at me trying to suck in 18 pounds of fat on my body. I'd rather just not do it, wait till I'm cute, and then do a posing practice then.
That's so interesting about feeling it, but that is so important. It's quite interesting. Your body-mind connection, what they call proprioception, must be very impressive, because I suppose the more posing practice you do, the more posing practice you do, you're going, okay, so I know that should make it look bigger, but actually if I do this, if I make that slight quarter turn on the bicep, on my wrist, that has a knock-on effect. So I'm sure I actually just saw, for whatever reason on Instagram, maybe it's because I follow you and some others like you, that it had Arnold Schwarzenegger helping a guy with his posing, and he was like, I don't know what was happening in the photo, but it looked like Arnie was just turning his hand or something. But there must be so many. Yeah, must be so many little things that you don't know unless you're in that world, that you can just gain an 100%. Inch here, there, you know? And
the whole time you're like on stage, I mean, for some reason, I find posing the easiest when I'm on stage. And I think it's because, it's a competitive mindset, and I'm there and I'm doing it. So I know that I'm doing my best. But when I'm practicing at home, there's no one watching me but me. So I'm like, oh, you know, you don't, I feel like I don't try as hard as I do when I'm on stage. But when you are on stage, or when you are practicing the posing, you might be thinking, oh, right, I need my waist look smaller, so I'm gonna push all the air out of my lungs and twist around. So you're doing that. Then as you're doing that, you realise that you're not smiling, and you've got to smile. It's got to look easy. So then you go, oh right, I need to smile. So then you smile, and then you're like, oh, my shoulders too far back. I need to bend around. And you're like, oh, I forgot about my stomach. It's like a constant you're constantly going around the different areas of your body. You're like, oh, my stomach, my face, my glutes, my shoulders twisted. Like, it's like constantly going round and round in your head.
Which is so funny, because that's yoga. Like, when you go through yoga poses, the whole point of yoga is to be so mindful of your body that if you're used to doing a movement, then you have to think about different cues that you haven't thought about before. Whereas for you guys, obviously, there's an actual result. It has to look like something. You guys, like, you're put into that meditative state where you cannot be thinking about something else. You cannot be anywhere else. You have to be in your body, focused. You're
constantly like trying to when I've been doing your yoga workouts over the last few days, actually it's so funny you said that, it's similar to yoga, because when I was doing the session, I'd be in a position and your voice comes over and says, make sure your heels aren't lifting, and I'd be like, oh crap, they're lifting. So I like push them down again. It's like, and when you do that, your body may twist. So try to engage the core. And I'm like, and I thought to myself, this is like lifting weights in the gym. Like, you've got to remember multiple things as you're doing the movement. You don't just go through the motions. And I guess that's so similar to posing as well. It's the same.
Yeah, and the more people I speak to, the more I find that's why yoga. In the West, we know yoga as the physical practice, the hatha, but yoga is a way of being, and you can see it come up in so many different things, which is then an extension of meditation. The idea that you're focused on one thing for that moment, you're in that experience, you're not doing anything else, you're not distracted by anything else.
All consuming. You can't be on your phone looking on Instagram.
Exactly. It's so interesting. So when you talk about that, I feel that your understanding of your body must be so strong, which is great, and it's obviously something that is very close to you. You said something along the lines of when you're you prefer a pose just when you're cute. How much does your weight fluctuate? Like, if you're bulking to then...
If I'm not cute and I'm cute.
What is the ideal cute level? No. What is the fluctuation?
Some bodybuilders, they fluctuate crazy. Like, I would say the average bodybuilder is probably maybe around 2 stone. Guys tends to be more. But I know some people that can fluctuate 4 or 5 stone. I know, they take off season to the next level. They literally like, I'm here to bulk. Because of my category, the category I'm in, which is athletic figure, or athletic bikini, I have gained all the muscle that I can gain naturally. I'm not on the market for taking anything to enhance my muscle at all. This is me natural, and that suits the category that I compete in, so that's cool. So for me, I don't need to bulk to gain muscle now. My muscle is here now. All I need to do is keep stripping body fat down to show it off. So in the early days of bodybuilder career, a lot of girls will need to eat excessive calories to be able to pack on muscles as well as they can do. But once you kind of get to the size you need to be, you don't need to do that. But also bear in mind that you don't need loads of extra calories anyway. Like a couple hundred extra a day if you're training hard. Like, you don't need 1,000 calories extra a day. All you're going to do is store fat. As soon as you start storing excessive amounts of fat, then that energy clearly isn't going to the muscle. It's clearly just being stored. Your body's gone, I've had enough, and now I'm going to store the rest. So I think it depends. Like, for me, I don't get very off season. Anyway, my body struggles to gain body fat as it is because of my regular training muscle. So my TDE, my RMR, my resting metabolic rate is higher than somebody else of my height, because I've got so much muscle. So I can pack away a lot of food and not gain much weight. But I'd say, going back to the question, Off season, I'll go up to about 72 kilograms, and I'm 5'6", and then, which is about a UK size 10. And then when I compete, I go down to about 64 kilograms, 64 kilograms. So I'll be like a small size 8. So that's not much really.
And
not much at all.
Where do you feel kind of the best? Where do you feel the strongest?
67. That's my favorite weight. That's my weight where I feel like I look cute, but then I feel strong still. Once I start going below that number, I start to lose my strength. But I can keep my strength at 7. That I've got a 72 at 67. I'm just on the cusp there of losing my strength. And then below that, I just forget it. Yeah.
So there you've got that perfect body, that strength to weight ratio is at its peak, right?
Yes, I'm much better at bodyweight exercises. I'm better at pull-ups. I'm better at press-ups. My body's much less heavy for me to drag around. And I like how it looks at 67. 67 of like, I mean, to be honest, like I really should be 67 all year round because I work in the fitness industry, but I just can't be bothered. Like, I just want to be able to eat whatever I want. And I'll lose weight for a holiday, but it doesn't take much effort to lose weight. But I feel like I represent more women being the way I am now, because it's not realistic to be lean all year round anyway, and I'm not, so I'm not going to pretend that I am. And
also, there's got to be something with, all right, there's an enjoyment with looking great, but also there's enjoyment, like you say, with eating with friends, and if I have to start now skipping dinners with friends because I can't eat the food that they have, or I'm not happy unless I'm looking in the mirror, this isn't a good place to be either, so I guess it's trying to find that happy place between the two, because I mean there's a misnomer where I think we're physical beings. We enjoy moving. We are, that's what our bodies are designed to do. So certainly there's an extraction of joy by being in shape. Like you say, you drop down to a certain weight, things get easier. Before I got into gymnastic kind of training, I was probably 96 kgs, whereas we're now 83, 6'1".
6'1".
But I've got a tiny head. So when I was that size, my head looked really, really small. I didn't have the beard either. So I looked like I had a real small head.
Does that why you have a beard? To make your head
beard
bigger?
Bulks, also because I've got no hair. So I feel like when you look at me now, your face just goes, okay, average amount of hair on the head in total, all good. Whereas if I don't have the beard, it's like something's not right. He looks like a thumb. So that's why I like the beard. And it bulks my head up. Yeah, but certainly I was amazed going to gymnastics, jumping on the rings for the first time at 96, having done a lot of weights, that I couldn't do anything. I was like, what?
Your body's so heavy.
Yeah, exactly. You're like, God. And then you find
and there can be people who are like heavy, who are really strong. Like I know so many guys who are great at bodyweight exercises, can do one-arm pull-ups, and they're stacked. But I guess it's like their body, they've been training that and they're so used to it. They're used to carrying that weight around. Whereas if somebody kind of gets into weight training or bodyweight exercises, gets into bodyweight exercise like yourself on the rings, and then you are 96 kilograms, suddenly it's like, holy hell, I am heavy.
You kind of work out how much of that 96 is useful very quickly.
And my body. Honestly, it's so true. I am off season, 72 kilogram, my 72 kilogram weight. I am so rubbish at my body weight. I can do press ups fine. I can always do them, but pull ups, forget it. You're lucky if I can do 5. Like
it's a hard skill, that.
It's so hard. When I'm 67 kilograms, I can do them. I can do way more. I can do 10 comfortably.
Do you think it's maybe because pull-ups, it requires so many muscles to activate? With press-ups, it's mainly your chest and triceps and shoulders, but your back, it's
back.
So many, your rhomboids to your trapezius to your lats to your QLs, everything is firing. So
it's funny because I train my back as well twice a week, because your posterior chain is so important. People forget about it because they can't see it. So essentially, they always say you should train your back twice as much as your front. And I've got a strong posterior chain. I've got big hamstrings. I've got big glutes. I've got a strong big back. But I just can't pull my body weight. I know it's a back. I know to lean back. I know how to, but I just can't pull it up when I'm 72. I'm like 3, and I'm like, forget it. Like
it's so funny when I go surfing, my back gets massive from swimming effectively so much and paddling.
Pushing off the board.
And your back just opens up. But I have a similar problem with my weight going the other way. Then I love surfing so much. I will surf so much. I can't eat enough to stay my weight. I literally don't have enough time in the day to eat. And I just like,
I get it. Because when you,
it's horrible.
when you go surfing, like when you hit that water, like once you get in the water and you're swimming out and you get a wave and you swim back out again, by the time you've done like, I don't know, 15 goes, 3 hours is gone. Because it takes so long going back out again.
Yeah. And it's so fun. It's very addictive. Each one, you're like,
addictive. You don't realize how much time's passed.
Yeah. And so then I have, like, I'm a hard gainer anyway. So then, like, I go through the stage of my first week of holiday, I just get into this crazy, like, you can see every element. This is great.
Quick.
Yes.
Get the Instagram photos.
The next week, I look like I'm malnourished. I've got a week period where I'm like, perfect. And then you know, it's so hard.
Like 2 or 3 days, it's like that fine, that perfect point where you just look amazing. And it's like, now I just look ill.
Yeah. I love your thing of get the camera, which is something obviously that you are a seasoned professional at. Do you want to talk a little bit about how you and your sister got to setting up your blog and your Instagram and stuff like that? Like, what spurred that on? Was it something you guys were always into?
I think Lucy and I always said when we were younger that we wanted to do something together, like work together in some way. And when I started going to the gym and did my first shows, I think I'd done 2 shows or 3 shows when Lucy and I were like, well, Instagram was becoming a big thing. Why don't we open like an account together and it'd be like a fitness account for us both? Because even though Lucy didn't go to the gym at the time, because we're mesomorph body types and we've always been strong. She just looked like she went to the gym and she didn't. Like, so we just looked like we went to the gym, and we started our account in 2015, and was it 2006? No, 2015. Yeah, 2000. Is it 2015? Oh, forget it. Doesn't matter. It was literally like 4 or 5 years ago, so maybe it's 2016. On a holiday together. And we just decided that we're just going to start posting photos of us working out. Well, me training her because I had no idea what she was doing really. I'm posting photos of us looking twinny, doing exercises together. And then not long after that, she did her first bodybuilding show as well because she decided she wanted to do it. And get this, she did a show and didn't even go to the gym. She didn't even have a membership. She just dieted. All she did is do the diet. She just cut calories down a little bit, got lean, went on stage, everyone clapped. And she looked the part. She didn't look like she didn't belong up there. Like she looked like she went to the gym.
Amazing. I actually feel like you having a twin sister, you guys have missed a trick here. I don't know if this is something you want to do, but you guys could literally do diets side by side. You could have a control group. Like, it's the one thing no one can ever do. I can never know how I would have looked after 6 weeks on the diet or 6 weeks without. I don't have a side by side analysis.
Well, you
two could literally do that analysis. It's quite interesting.
It was really fascinating because I got into all this before Lucy, so she now does go to the gym, and after her first show she started going to the gym, so I've got about 2 years ahead of her on terms of going to the gym, so I am a lot more muscly than her. We look very similar, to be honest, but I am a lot stronger than her. And in 2018 we did a show together, and I was the one category up from her. So she was in the toned category and I was in the athletic category, which meant that for her category, she didn't need to be as muscly and she didn't need to be as lean. It was like a softer, more everyday look kind of thing, whereas mine was clearly you go to gym and you lift heavy weights and you're shredded more look. So you had to have much more separation in the stomach. You had to have, you could see the muscle cutting in on your shoulders, where she just needed to have gentle shadowing. And on show day, I was probably about 10% leaner than her on body fat because I had complete ab separation and she didn't. And I was a stone heavier than her. So it goes to show like how much more muscle I had than her. She was like 9 stone something and I was like 10 stone 4. And I was over a stone heavier than her, but I looked smaller than her and I looked tighter and I was a lot leaner than her. So when people go, when people chase the scales, I always give them that as an example because we're identical twins, the same height, everything, but I just carried a lot more muscle than her.
Now, from what you said there, I'm starting to understand that. So is there a brief outline of what you're looking for? So can you take us through that? That was very interesting.
You can't be, so in different categories, you can be too lean, you can be too muscly.
Wow.
So I've seen girls go in who look unreal. Like they get on stage and they're lined up next to the girls in their category, and they are the most toned, the most lean, but then they don't even place. And their feedback is, you're too lean for this category and you're too toned. You should have got a little bit more leaner, a little bit more toned, and then gone in the category above. And sometimes on stage, on competition day, you can turn up backstage, and this happened to me in my very first show. You can turn up backstage and you say, and then you come around the stage and say, right, what category are you? And I said, I was this category. And they look at you and they go, put your arms up, squeeze your stomach. No, you're not that category. You're in the next one. And they'll move you on the day.
Wow. So they'll do that favor. So what is the checklist then? Do you have like the checklist in front of you, or is it like a broad stroke?
I can give you an idea. I haven't got it in front of me. But for toned figure, it'll say general body tone all over. Not too lean, not too fluffy, so not carrying too much body fat. You've got to be lean, but not with definition, not too much definition. So you can't have separation of muscle groups. They don't like any striations. Don't see any muscle fibers or striations coming out of the skin. Not too veiny. You can't have too much vein sitting on the surface. And also say that a overall pleasing aesthetic look that looks like you go to the gym, but isn't like overdone. It's something along those kind of lines of me for a toned figure. So yeah, and I've seen girls go in who are in the same category, and one of them's got a full-on 8-pack. You can see all 8, and one girl has just got the 2 lines on the outside of her abdomen, you know, for her obliques, and that fits the toned figure category description. Gentle toning, not overly done. The girl that had separation, like ab separation, so she would get marked down for that because she's not followed the brief.
Yeah, that's interesting. So I didn't realize you're not just trying to go, wow, that's the direction I want to go, more is better of that. It's like, I'm trying to hit this exact period, this exact bracket. That must be really tricky to get it right.
It is, and you want to do it, you know, you've got a date where the show is, and you need to kind of get to that level of leanness by that date. So what a lot of people find is before you even start dieting for a show, you ideally need to have a bit too much muscle, because as you lose weight, obviously then you'll lose muscle as well. And then you want it to be that when you hit stage day, your body fat is the right level that you can see muscle for your category, maybe not too lean that you look too muscly, because of course, as you lose muscle, as you lose body fat, as you'll know, the fat covers the shape of the muscle. So if you lose more fat, you can see the roundness of the muscle much more, which isn't right for some categories. So the categories, as you get more muscly for the categories, you also need to get leaner, which is fine because the two go hand in hand. If you get leaner, you look more muscly.
But that is so interesting. I guess you have to know your body so well, though. So that's why experience doing shows, you can know, you're like, I'm 4 weeks out. I know that I could change my shape in 2 weeks. I know that. So we can carry on training this way, as opposed to overshooting the mark. It's kind of like when people try and make weight for fighting, for boxing or MMA, they have to know exactly how long they need, because they don't want to rush it, because they've got the added problem of I didn't realize this, but when they drop weight too quick, they're more prone to knockouts because the fluid around the head is not there. So their power obviously goes down.
It's finding that perfect weight, isn't it? It's like finding that cute weight where everything is spot on, everything falls in at the right point. And I think what people have to do as well is what I would encourage my clients to do is you need to put yourself in the category that suits you, not that you necessarily want to go in. You might want to go in, for me, I will never be in bikini, like toned bikini, because I carry naturally too much muscle. So for me to get in that category, if I get lean enough to look good in that category, I'm just going to look too muscly. So I can never do that. I can never do that category. So you've got to be realistic as well. You've got to think, when I diet and I train, how is my body looking? This suits that category. You read the description of the categories and you fit yourself to this description that suits you the most. And that's a category you're most likely to do very well in. There's no point in trying to get yourself into a category that you can't naturally get into.
That's a good point, because there will be that thing where people go, I want to look like this. This is what I want. And maybe that's not realistic. You
and
say
like,
you
I think
help.
for mesomorphs as well, I'm a mesomorph. I build muscle so easily. So I didn't even start in the lowest, least muscular category. I went straight in at the next one up. Whereas I've got girls that I've been training for years, and they're not mesomorphs. They're like ectomorphs. Their body burns through everything, like fat and muscle, and they really struggle to build muscle. So for them to ever think they're going to get into a trained figure category, or a trained or an athletic, the bigger girls, they're never ever going to get there. Well, I'm not going to dash people's dreams, but if you're not a mesomorph, it's going to be very difficult. And I think they'd have to have they could get there if they continue to do what needs to be done, and even then they might not do. And you've got to look at the long game. It might be 6, 7, 8 years before they're able to compete in that category, because they need to build that muscle.
Yeah. So I spoke about my friend Mark Slaughter. When he doubled Skarsgård on Tarzan, he had to do a lot of weights, and he had to eat a lot, because he ectomorph is the right one for someone who burns.
Yes.
He's just naturally very lean, which worked great, because when he started eating big and training, my God, he was an amazing physique. But the minute he stops eating those 6 to 8 meals a day, it goes really quickly, So I like to say, it's whether someone can be asked to keep that up there until their body adapts, because you can change your body, I guess, for the year, where you have to keep up the thing. But if you want it to stay like that as your new natural, as your new normal, it's probably going to take longer.
As well, eating all that food.
So there was something else you touched on that I thought was, yes, I've got it. So again, I spoke to another Olympic athlete who's a sprinter, and I was talking about different mentalities and how you go into shows. You've already answered the question kind of by saying, when you have your phone there and there's not an audience, you don't but you don't feel the motivation as much as when you see people in front of you.
It's crazy when you've got an audience.
Is your sister the same?
I'd say, well, she definitely is. And I'd say I find it very unusual for most people not to be that way, because when you're on stage and then you've got 18 judges sitting there watching you, and you've got an audience and the music's going, and you know that this is it, and it comes down to this moment, I can't imagine anybody would be like, oh, okay, I'm just going to give 80%.
No, but I think
people do their best posing, like.
But I think what happens is, it's not that they don't bother, it's that they get overwhelmed. So I work in the performance industry too, and it's funny seeing different personalities shine when people stare at them, and other personalities wilt. So even if they could do it, now they feel under pressure. The pressure gets them,
Yeah, I think you've got to be able to. You've got to be able to focus on what you're doing, and if you can feed off the audience and the lights and the music, great. But if that freaks you out, then you need to be able to just go inside your head and just be mentally talking to yourself the whole time you're on stage. For me, I like hearing that when the music's pumping, you can feel the floor vibrating with some competitions, the music's so loud, and that feeling is just like, it gives me goosebumps just thinking about it, because it switches me on completely. I'm great in a competitive environment though, and when it's down to the wire, I can bring it. Whereas I think it can be overwhelming, and some people can be like that. But I think it's probably minority with bodybuilding. I think we all kind of like the stage with bodybuilding.
I would think though, if you want to be in front of people, for sure. But I would say for the majority of people out there, I think it's a smaller minority that when the pressure comes on, that they bring their best. I think most people are like that.
Do you know what? I'm the same when it comes to like exams at school. I was rubbish when the pressure was on. I was just like out of my head. But then when it comes to things like this, like physical things, it's like the opposite effect with me.
So, that's a great segue then onto this new show you've done, which isn't the first show you've done. You've done only Fittest Survive. Was that the first show you did?
Survivor the Fittest.
Survivor the Fittest, that was it. I remember that one.
It's a couple of years ago now. Over 2 years ago. Yeah.
So you did that. That was with your sister or not?
No, never done any TV with my sister.
So these are all your, okay.
Yeah, all my own.
You did that. How did that go? And what were kind of the highlights of that?
So that was a girls versus boys show where we were filmed 24/7, and we went live. It was on TV every single night, and the audience could vote people on and off the show. And there was challenges every single day, like physical challenges every single day, which if you lost, you could risk going home. And the guys could vote you off, or the audience could vote you off. The viewers, sorry. And it was for 4 weeks, 3 weeks in total, but 4 weeks. We had to stay there for a week before filming started. So it was good. I mean, the girl team won, so we won. So that's good. So it was
like,
good
whatever.
outcome for me. Yeah, we won. Yeah. I mean, I found that experience to be very stressful because not only you're living with a bunch of people you don't know, and for me, they were a lot younger than me. I was 30 and everyone was like 21, and they were getting caught up in all this like boy drama, and I was like, really? Like, we're here for a competition. Like, I was literally here for the competition to win. So it frustrated me when we didn't win daily challenges and the boys kept winning, because I felt like if there was a team of 7 of me, we would win everything. But some of these girls I talked, they didn't even go to the gym. Some of them didn't go to the gym. Like,
yeah, but
I mean, we did win in the end.
The producers know what they're doing too. They
I mean, it was really a dating show disguised as a fitness show.
Producers know sex sells, so if you can find that chemistry between people, that's much better viewing than
don't get
this
me
competition.
wrong, I'm sure the other girls were a lot more popular to view with the viewers than me, because I was like just there for the game, like the competition. I was like, I would literally spend all day just being nervous for the competition because I was like, I wanted to win.
I have no doubt you had more than your fair share of fans, as you do now. I was watching one of your vlogs with the questions you get asked, and you were like, we're not going to answer all the questions because always there's those weird questions like, can I buy your underwear? It's so funny, like what weird fetishes are out there and how the internet has gone, hey, you know, all you weirdos, we've got a great place for you. Come on in here. Come on into the internet. You can direct message girls all the time, you know. Do you want some shoes? Get some from them. What were some of the weirdest messages you got?
I had one this morning actually. What I do is every time I find a really dodgy message, I screenshot it and then send it to all my girlfriends, because they honestly they love it. I wish I could remember what it said now. It was really weird. Should I show you? If I go through it, okay, right, bear with me.
No problem.
I don't know if you can still hear me. Oh, you can still hear me.
I can still hear you,
I screen grabbed it. You might not be able you can hear me, yeah?
Yeah, I can still hear you.
Today I got, are you ready for this?
I'm so excited.
If your ass were a cottage, I would rent it for the summer.
I mean, I'm not even mad about that. I'm not even mad.
What does that even mean?
He's allowed you, you know, he's giving you the compliment, but also he's also allowed you out for the winter. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
at least I get
he's given it a time period. Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's kind of.
I always find, you know what? You've got to laugh at them, but sometimes I'm insulted. Like one guy put, this is the other day. He wants to pay me $50,000 for me to send him photos on my Instagram, i.e. nude shots. And he put how much, there's a price for everything. And I replied to him, and I don't never reply to these, but I did reply to this one, and I put, you can't buy me. Even if you had $1 million to give me, I would say no. No one can buy me. It's insulting to think that girls will just show people their bodies for money because we can be bought, and it got me really, really angry. It was assumption. It was so assumptive that he could buy me. It pissed me off.
That isn't cool. Also, if you can forward his details to me, I don't have as many morals.
I should just get a photo of your ass sent to him.
I think they'll know the difference for some obvious reasons. I imagine yours is much cuter.
I get asked all sorts of things like, can you wear socks to the gym for like 5 sessions? Put them in a zippy lock bag and send them to me. I've not done anything.
I dated a girl who, she just was like, if these guys want to give me their money, she used to go to charity stores, buy used shoes, and send them on.
Right.
And she'll say they were hers.
Oh.
100, 200 quid, £3 from the charity store.
And you know what? Honestly, like, people keep saying to me, like, why don't you just do it? Like, I'll send them my socks or my underwear. It doesn't have to be yours. But I don't know. I think it's because I feel like I'm so stubborn. I feel like, how dare they think that for this amount of money, I'm happy to give them part of, like, something that's like, I don't know, something about it makes me feel like,
it's hard to put the finger on and articulate why. I understand.
You get it? It's weird. I feel like
it's different to say you selling barbells, you know?
Yes.
Or selling.
I know it's only a pair of socks or a pair of.
It's interesting. What is it like? Because to you, it's nothing, right? The fact that, I mean, you're not getting sexually aroused for it. I mean, why is it bad for them to get sexually aroused? I don't know. I've never really given it.
I feel like. It's weird. It's like, it annoys me that they can buy, that they're buying me. They're essentially buying me. And I feel like, no, you can't buy this. I'd rather, do you know what? I'd rather give them the socks for free. because I feel like they're not buying me. I'm just giving it because I chose to give it to them, not because and it's not about, it's about the fact that they want to exchange money for something that's like sexual. For me, I don't like that. It annoys me. I don't know why.
Okay.
It shouldn't annoy me, really. I should just take the $500 and run.
That is, that is an interesting point, because I think maybe now that I think about it, maybe that's exactly what they're doing. Maybe, when I think about it in terms of like, as far as I can understand the male psyche, maybe that's exactly it. They want a piece of you. Like, they look at you and they are attracted to you. Being separated from you, they want a piece of you, and they giving what they have a value to you because they value that thing. I don't know if that's part of the attraction, that when they look at you, then they have a piece of you. Yeah, that's an interesting concept. I mean, as a guy, you just don't get those kind of messages.
Do you not? Well, do you know what?
Unless it's from a
you can do the socks if you want. You can wear them. I'll send you some like underwear in advance, and you can just start wearing it in case someone asks me for used underwear. And then you can just...
these ones, they got a hell of a musty smell. Yeah, it is so interesting. I've got a friend who's a martial artist, and she was like, the amount of foot stuff she gets. That's probably the most popular one. Yeah.
My main one is feet. Feet. First and foremost, it's feet, like photos of feet, which again I've never done. And it's only a pair of grotty feet, but I don't know. There's something about
that's what they like. Yeah.
It's weird, isn't it? I got like half a nail that doesn't want to attach to my toe anymore. It's just abandoned my toe.
Is it the baby toe?
No, it's the main toe.
Oh my God, the big dog.
It just doesn't want it. Can you see how it's dark? It doesn't want to stick to my foot anymore.
Yeah, I've got it on my baby toe on my right side, but I broke my toe when I was really young, my baby toe. And now the baby toe and the next one are the same height. Like, it's been cramped.
Oh, really?
But, like, if you look at that, that's absolutely fucked. Like, it bends both ways.
It is.
So.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Oh. No one's asking me for these things, which is great.
No.
Now, so from reluctant offerings that you have to ones that you are much keener to give away and to offer, which is your online stuff. You spoke about your clients and getting them ready for shows. Do you also do just people that want to train and get into shape, or is it mainly the bodybuilding focused stuff that you do?
For me now?
Yeah, so your
I mean, I have not done bodybuilding. Sorry, say it again.
So really, what I'm asking is, now in terms of your offering to other people, in terms of your services, getting away from the socks and the underwear, you do training programs. You mentioned about helping people get ready for shows, but do you also just do regular people trying to get into shape?
Yeah, the main body of the people that I get is just regular wanting to get into shape, and usually it's for holidays, weddings, events and stuff like that. Yeah, but I think for me it's really, really important that I impress on my clients that for me, training shouldn't just be about how you look. And I totally get that's the reason why people come to me. Most people will get into the gym because they want to look a certain way. They won't go to the gym because they want to get fit. It's a small minority of people that tell me that's the reason why. Often you find it's older clients that want to get fit, 60, 70, 80, because they've had health issues, and now they've like, okay, I need to start doing something to improve my mobility, my flexibility, my strength. But youngsters, they just want to look a certain way. And my website is called Future Proof Fitness, because I feel like training should be about future proofing your body. You shouldn't just look at the here and now. And actually, looking cute should be a byproduct of your aim. Your aim should be, I want to be strong, I want to be flexible, I want to be fit, I want to be able to run and not, die. And then if I look cute on the back end of that, great. And that's how I want people to view. And obviously it goes against bodybuilding, but the whole time I've done bodybuilding, I'm trying to look a certain way. I had the utmost respect for my body and how fit and strong it was. And most of the time that I'm training is to be stronger and to be better. Only the diet side of it affects how I'm looking. I'm looking leaner, but I don't train to be cute. I train to be strong and to be fit and to feel amazing. And if you do that, you'll look good anyway, because you'll be doing all the right things to look after yourself. So I'm trying to get my clients to think more that way. If you chase how you look as well, let's face it, we can be impatient. And if you're trying to fit into a pair of jeans or look a certain way, and you're checking the mirror and checking the scales, if that isn't telling you what you want to see straight away, then you might give up. Whereas if you say, okay, I haven't got into these jeans yet and my stomach isn't flat yet, but yesterday I got a new weight on my deadlift, and I'm excited to see if I can beat that in a few weeks' time. So I'm going to keep doing it because actually I want to see if I can beat that weight. So you still do it anyway without getting the other reward. That reward will come. You have to just keep your head down.
I see what you're saying. Also, you're allowing then more motivation to come into the play because you're not just motivated by how you look, which is going to take a while anyway. I feel like performance will start improving before looks do, often anyway.
100%.
In a week,
I mean, you can improve stuff so quick.
Yeah. You know, whether that's double unders or pull-ups or anything like that. Well, pull-ups, as we discussed, maybe not, but for the rest of the stuff, for sure. For sure, but that's an interesting thing. And just as we go into that a little bit more, how did you feel mental health-wise? Did you manage to dissociate from, because I guess what I'm trying to touch on is bodybuilding, or that addiction to how you look can be quite detrimental to some people, right? Whether it's getting really skinny through anorexia or bulimia or something like that, or whether it's getting really big in guys' cases with body dysmorphia, this unacceptance of yourself. So how did you marry up this idea of, and this is, I guess, I think that everyone I speak to, I'm quite curious, how do we marry up these two things of motivation and inspiration to be better, while also at the same time accepting ourselves? And could you speak a little bit, because you seem very level-headed, you seem to be very motivated, but you don't seem to be in any way, shape, or form going, oh, I wish I was like this. It's more of a case of...
No, never. Again, I'll take it back to when I was younger. I was always so strong, and I loved that I was strong, like freakishly strong compared to other girls in my year, and even the boys in my year. And I had so much respect for my body because it was strong. And now, even through bodybuilding and everything that I've done, first and foremost, I have so much respect for my body. Like, if I don't look how I want to look, I am not going to beat myself up about it, because that's going against everything that I'm thankful for. Like, I've got 2 legs, they work. I've got a body that works. And I always go back to, okay, I'm not where I want to be, but, you know, keep going and keep doing what I need to do, and I will eventually get there. Like, have a plan in place, and just be thankful for where you are right now, because it's better than where you were a little while ago for most people, unless people have kind of come back into training after having time off. And I think if you have respect for your body, it helps you to be kinder to yourself when you just respect your body. And with bodybuilding, it's about how you look, but you spend more of the year just not looking at how you look particularly. I mean, you're always kind of looking and making sure everything's developing well, but it's not about level of leanness at that time. It's just about getting the size you need to get. So you'll be eating plenty of calories and you'll be enjoying your training. It's only when you start prepping that it can become, I think, harder for some people, because your body starts to change and it's not changing quick enough. You're not getting lean enough. You feel like your muscles getting smaller. You've got to always keep in check where you're at and be realistic. Like, if you are not lean enough, if you aren't big enough, do you need to wait a year and maybe compete next year? Do you need to put some more muscle on first? You've got to be realistic about where you've come from, where you are.
It sounds like very much you need to have, from your perspective, this dialogue with your body. So it's not a case of you just telling your body what it's going to do, but instead listening and going. And as you were saying with the categories too, it's quite interesting. You can say, hey, maybe this isn't the category for me. I still have other options. And I loved your thing of saying, you know, respect your body. You've got 2 legs, you've got 2 arms.
Always got to respect it. Like, honestly, like, I've been there before when I've been a lot younger, and like 17, 18, I'd look in the mirror at my stomach and I'd grab the fat and I'd go, literally, I'd be trying to pull it off my body because I hated it. And now I couldn't give 2 craps if I've got fat on my stomach. I've got fat on my stomach right now. I ate cream egg, like a whole Easter egg yesterday, and I don't care, because I think I've just now got, as I've gotten older, I've got so much more respect for my body. When I was younger, like early teens, I was freaking strong. I wasn't bothered about what I looked like. I just looked at I was strong. Got to 17, 18, had my first boyfriend, started analysing what I looked like, and I had a period for about a year. This is the only time where I've ever not been how I am now, and it was a very short period really, in terms of the fact I'm 33 now. So for 1 year of my life, when I was around 17, 18, was when I first got a boyfriend. That's when I started analysing how I looked more, and I didn't like the fact I had excess stomach on my fat, and I was strong, I was fit, but I remember being like, why does my stomach look like this? And I hated it. And I would, you know, eat fewer calories, I would exercise more, trying to look a certain way. And then I realized I spent a whole year of my life just feeling miserable. And actually I didn't even look that different to how I looked when I wasn't being miserable, because I was being I was living a more sustainable life. Whereas now I was in the market of restricting all the time and excessive dieting and exercising, and actually I should just kept on doing what I was doing before, which is just, you know, sustainable living.
No, that is so interesting, and I love the fact that you know, as you get older, your website, as you described, is called Future Proof Your Body. And you know, after I turned to probably similar age to you, like when I was early 30s, I was like, I need to start looking longevity wise.
Yeah,
like I want this body. 30. Yeah, I was like, oh,
you're like, oh.
Yeah, I was like, hang on, there's a bit of time left here. Like, this body needs to last me some time, and I was like, I've got to look after it. It can't just be the stuff I want to do, and I hammer it in different shapes and forms, even though they're different between Muay Thai, gymnastics, trampolining. I was like, I'm just smashing my body up just in different ways. That's not variety. I need to bring some variety into my training and look after my body and be like, okay, how's it doing today? If it's not doing well today, let's give it a rest. Let's go for it. So I love that idea 100%. Of your website called Future Proof Your Body. That's such a good way of looking at the body. And I think, it's obviously working for you. You're doing great. You're smashing these challenges. You want to tell us a little bit more, just as a way of closing, about this new show on MTV, when people can catch it and what they can look forward to seeing?
Well, this is single-handedly the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. Much harder than the other show. The challenges are on another level. So it's, again, a mixture of girls and guys. It's a US show, but it has just come to the UK last year. And we all live in a house together. We're filmed 24/7, and it's 8 weeks long. So it's a long time to be away, no contact with a family or friends or anything. And then there's challenges every 2 challenges a week, 2 eliminations a week. Each week you've just got to try and stay in the shit, stay there and not get eliminated and go home. And the challenges are often extremely physical, like stuff that you would never voluntarily do. But there is $1 million prize on the line. So you kind of just think to yourself, I'm just gonna have to do it. Because you know, I might win $1 million, so you just get on with it, because it's it's a lot of money. So it started airing in the US 4 weeks ago, and the UK started last night. So it's on Tuesday nights at 11 p.m. on MTV for, I think, 12 weeks it'll be running.
Amazing. Well, I look forward to seeing more of you in there. And also, Jenny, where can people find you personally? And then, of course, any YouTube or vlogs or websites they can find you at.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to start doing YouTube again on my own, because I've always done it with my twin sister, but we've stopped about a year ago because I've been so busy doing my filming and going away, and she's at a new job. So I am going to start my own channel, because I do miss doing YouTube, and I did enjoy that. So I'm going to start that up, but the moment it doesn't exist. I've got my Instagram account, which is Jennifer West Official, and then I've got a page as well for my online plans, which is called Future Proof Fitness. But if you go on Jennifer West Official, it's all on there anyway.
I saw link in the bio.
That's my main. I saw it. Yeah. I won't tell you my TikTok, because I'm not very good at TikTok yet. I'm just. I saw that was there on your website. Everyone's getting a little bit of TikTok. I might oh my God, I'm obsessed with it. Obsessed.
I imagine you would do very well. Like you have the right energy.
Yeah, I don't want to just go on and do rubbish videos. I want to go in with a bang, but it's actually harder than it looks. Like being funny, like or being innovative, or doing something really crazy. Like I wish I could just film half the challenges that I do when I'm away, and I could just put them on my TikTok, because they would definitely, work with TikTok. But some of the stuff people do is incredible. Like it's made me realize how creative humans are, how clever, how creative, how talented. If you've not got TikTok, you need to get it.
I might check it out. I've always seen it as
get TikTok, just get it.
So I used to do these videos. I'll send you one after this of changing clothes. When Lululemon became like when I became an ambassador. So I do things like where what I'm wearing now, I'll grab it and do this, and then the whole thing will come off. Yeah, and it'll just keep, like I'll do that, or I'll snap my fingers, and it just takes a long time. But again, I used to copy this guy called Zach King. I would run through like a door, and then my clothes would be on the wall and then drop down,
or like you jump onto your bed and your outfit comes on your body.
Yeah, that one I actually tried. That one is super hard to do. To get that one right, it's really hard.
This guy did it on TikTok and then did a video with a tutorial telling people how to do that video.
Have to have a lock-off camera.
I have no idea how to do it.
Have to have a tripod. Have to have the camera in the same place. It cannot move. That's the tricky part with the phone. Because minutes you touch, if you have a clicker button, it's better, because You don't have to touch the actual screen. Every time you touch it, it moves slightly, and you're like, oh. So normally you
Yeah.
do it in one take. But yeah. Anyway, well, all right. Well, I look forward to seeing some of these TikToks.
First TikTok video, Doug. I want you to get on TikTok. That's what I want for your first TikTok video.
Okay.
Jump on the bed with a new outfit.
I feel like there could be even something cooler in there, but I'm going to think about that. Jenny, thank you so much for your time. It's really always so good to talk to you. You're an uplifting person.
I just hope people could understand what I was saying. I'm great at talking really quickly.
You are. I feel like I've done a 2-hour podcast in 1 hour. That's the advantage, you know. And then people can listen back at half time. They can listen back in slow-mo. And
you have to slow it down.
No, Jenny, it's a real pleasure. And I look forward to speaking to you some more and seeing what you're doing. When all this is done, let's get together.
Thank you so much.
And it's my pleasure. And have a great rest of your day over there.
It's funny because this is the first one I've done. And I feel like really, like, instead selfish, I feel like it's all about me. Like, usually when I talk to somebody, I'm used to asking them questions back. So I want to ask you questions. I'm like, I feel like I've just been really rude for the last hour. I just talked about me.
You've done the right thing. This is what I like in my podcast. This is what I find people that I find interesting, because I know if I find it interesting, certainly my listeners, my viewers would find it interesting too. And I don't care if they don't either, because I enjoy talking to you.
Okay, I enjoy talking to you. Thank you.
All right, Jenny, have a lovely rest of your day.
Thank you. You too.